Hello, one and all. It is me, Stephanie. And before we start to set our soul free, I want to remind you to don't forget to subscribe to the channel, click the like, and leave a comment. Also, don't forget to hit the little notification bell so you know when new videos post. As always, I know we won't always agree, and that's okay. Man wasn't meant to always agree with one another. That's what makes our world that God created unique, because everyone has a difference of opinion, and I'm okay with that. Leave your comments so we can keep the conversation going. Remember, it's not about me, it's about you. It's about our youth. It's about setting our souls free with me, Stephanie. So let's get into it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Wherever you are, in whatever part of the country you may be living in, I greet you and say thank you for blessing me with your presence. It is time to set your soul free with me, Stephanie. So let's see what we can be blessed with today. We are going to start by what's going on. This is called New Things Are Coming. New things are coming. I have been absent for a while because things have been going on that, sometimes we just can't predict what life is going to do. We can't change it. We can't, work our way around it sometimes. Sometimes life just happens and we just have to go with the punches. So that is why you have not heard from me in a while, because life happened and it hit me like a brick wall and I had to stop, regroup, rethink about everything I was doing and how I was going to do it. So for those who follow the podcast, who are on my email list, there was an email I sent a couple of weeks ago explaining, a little bit about what was going on and how I had to hold up for a second because I had to get my life in order. And this is more of a way of talking about it. You can only put so much in the email before it becomes a dissertation, before it becomes a best-selling novel, because it's so doggone long. So talking about it is a better way to do it, because then I can say everything I need to say and then you can hear what is going on. So update, now that I have a little downtime, let me further explain what's been going down. The ministry is going well. Off to a slow start, but that is what's to be expected when things change. Like I said, we were a for-profit, then we changed to a non-profit, and when you do that, things tend to change, and you got to pick up the momentum. If you visit the blog, you will now see a donate button. The donate button is now what we're part of Give Butter. We're also on Givelify. We're on the Cash App, but Give Butter is something new that we're doing, and it's a way to raise funds for the cause. That cause is to mentor, counsel, provide food, shoes, or fulfill any need that we can to assist, and including those of resources that are available to help. So there's ways that you can donate, and we're not going to go through all of that, but you have 8 choices. Now here's the thing. Most people, when you donate, you just hit a button, it's done, it's over, it's done. I'm not like that, because I'm helping more than one group of people. So each group of people has its own donate button. So you have the youth and young adults. So that'll be like children, because they're considered youth. So I'll put them in one group, youth and young adults, which is my genre. And that's providing clothes, shoes, school supplies, hygiene products, or whatever they may need, including mentoring and counseling services. That part will come from me. But the donation part is, kids need school supplies year round. So it's not like the back to school thing that you see people do and then that's a done deal. No, this is when you donate, it sits in there year round. So when I hear of a child that needs pencils, papers, notebooks, and no, school supplies is not like it was when we grew up. When we grew up, your parents had a sale on a pack of paper and you had paper in there for everybody in the neighborhood 3 or 4 times over. Stuff now is expensive. These Tacoma, Takashi, whatever these pencils are called, that costs $2 or $3 a box. I'm like, okay, is it going to write itself? Is it going to do my kids' homework? Why am I paying that much for a pencil? So stuff gets more expensive as the curriculum for schools change. Their supply lists change. It gets more and more expensive, and sometimes parents just cannot cover it. Hence why teachers ask you to send extra, because it's going to float around the classroom for those who need it. Then we got the hygiene products. Again, what may seem something easy to us is hard for someone else. And the mentoring and counseling, I just put that on there, but that's like a free thing that I do. That's neither here nor there, unless it's something that I cannot do. Now, I'm a firm believer. I'll help any way I can, but I do know when I need to step aside and let a professional come in after talking to them. And I'm like, okay, well, you need something more than what I can offer. So if that becomes the case, if there's money in the account, that's how we'll help. You have families in there. We help with food and or help with their utilities, which will be in the form of gift cards, counseling, or providing any resources they may need to help their families feel safe. This I put in because that's what we went through. A couple of years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, we had to make the decision that one of us had to leave our job because it was just getting too hard. We couldn't keep up with the house. We was playing beat the repo. It was ridiculous that both of us had a nice paying job, but we still couldn't keep up the house, keep up the bills, keep up the kids being in daycare. We just couldn't do it. So we had to let it go, and it had to be me because my husband had seniority in his job. So no, you gonna stay, I'll leave. 6 months later, we ended up getting custody of our grandkids. Here's where the problem came in. Like, keep in mind, 6 months prior, we was already in financial straits, which is why one of us had to leave our job. Now we got 2 more mouths, which at the age we got them were 2 and 3. So now we got to find a way to come up with more money, where hence the Caregivers Program came to play. Caregivers Program is a program that Tennessee has that helps caregivers take care of family. Or there's rules of how you can be a part of it. But in our case, because they were our grandkids and we had custody of them, they were able to help. Now, this is the part when I say providing resources. God blesses us. We go through what we go through. God brings us out of it, but then he expects us to share that with the next person. We're not supposed to keep the blessings that he blesses us with. We're supposed to share it. So when we were blessed with the Caregivers Program and the resources they provided, logically, I shared it with anybody who needed it. Like at the time the daycare the kids were going at, the director who we knew was asking me about it. And I told her, this is who they need to call to help, because they help with daycare expenses. They help with paying the utilities. They help with the mortgage. If you have rent, they help with anything you need to help with. They helped us get a toddler bed for the kids. They helped us get a dresser drawer for one of the girls. I mean, they were a blessing when we needed it most. When we needed help with the rent, they paid for it. When we needed help with the utilities so it could be kept on, they helped. When we needed food, we got gift cards. They helped. I told you, I have no shame in using my life as an example so you can see that what God can do for me, he can do for you. Never knew this place existed. And when they stepped in on time. So things like that we do for families. Seniors. We can't forget the seniors. They're the ones that paved the way for us to be able to do the things that we do, for us to have the freedoms that we have. So we help the seniors with their food and their utilities in the form of gift cards or anything else that they may need our assistance. Some seniors just need someone to talk to. You know, they may have family, but the family can't come over, can't see them as much or can't call them as much. Or they may need to run to the store, but they don't have a means to get there because some seniors don't have a car. Or some seniors, because of health reasons, cannot go out. Even though people are just lackadaisical, but we are still in a pandemic, some seniors can't go out to do their own shopping. Or they probably could, but again, they don't have a way to do it. But then again, some seniors just need someone to talk to. Then we got to think about the seniors who can't make it to worship, who don't know about a Zoom, who don't know about listening to their service online. They don't know that stuff. So we can't forget about them, and figure out what we can do. And that's what we do. With me being a motivational speaker, I have no problem going to see them. If they have no problem with me in their house, I have no problem going to see them. If it's a group of them, we can have church right there. Church is short, straight, simple, and straight to the point. Most of the people I do, because on Sundays I do one-on-ones with people, and that's like the one time that you can actually say the service I had today was just for me. Because when I'm speaking to somebody, I have no problem with you asking a question. I mean, there's no point in me continuing on if you don't understand what I'm saying. So my one-on-ones, people love it because it's just for them. We speak, I speak. They ask a question, I answer the question. I ask them a question, and it's geared toward them, which is the best thing you can have. There is a thing for blessings to all, which is like a general donation thing. And this is just a general fund when you have no particular group, you just want to donate. Now, we use something like that for like Red Cross, or during the time when we had these hurricanes and these floods. If there's money in that account, we'll use it to go help, some way, go help children or go help adults or go help people in general. Then there's Promotion Sunday. Promotion Sunday is something that goes on in May, where I recognize students pre-K through 12 of being promoted to the next grade. And this is something I've done for over 8 years. It's something I started 8 years ago because lots of churches just deal with the graduates. Well, we're not remembering that now kids have to go through a whole lot more just to go from one grade, because they're combining a lot of things, like this infinite math crap, where you're a freshman in high school and they're starting you off with algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry, calculus. They're starting you, and it's called infinite math. It's all of those maths combined into one, and it makes no sense to me why you would do that. So we have this promotion. I have this promotion Sunday where we recognize the students, and that could be any students. Because I think it's up to 20, maybe 30 now, because I'm always getting ones added. And what we do is they get little certificates saying, congratulations on being promoted to the next grade. Depending on how many funds are in the account, I usually have something made for them so they can have something physical that day. I think one year we did a clear plastic case that had the water and glitter in it, but it had their name on it with the name of the organization that was personalized. It was theirs. We've done several different things, but that's what Promotion Sunday is. Again, we have one that's just for back to school, which helps with the backpacks, the school supplies, the lunch money, because not everyone qualifies for that free lunch, and not all schools participate in the free lunch. It could be where they are demographically, I don't know, but there's some schools that do not, I ain't gonna say participate because it's probably something out of their hands, but there are some schools who are not on that free lunch program. So you still have students who don't eat, or they can't eat, or their family doesn't have the money so they can't eat, or anything else the school may require for their education. And this is, again, with the back to school, is a year-long thing. So when they need help, we have the funds to assist. It's amazing, and I'm going to say it again, not all schools have the free lunch. So we still have elementary, high school, middle school that do not have the free lunch. So the parents are having to find a way to come up with that lunch money. And being a person from there before they had this free lunch program, that adds up. And if you're already struggling and now you got to come out of $10, $15, $20 a week extra, depending on how much it costs at the school for breakfast and lunch for your child, and heaven forbid if you got more than one, that's a lot. Decisions have to be made. You have to think about what you can do. So we have stuff like that helps with the food and stuff like that. Thanksgiving. For that, we provide meals that need it. And even if it's just a turkey, because, sometimes people have enough for the sides. They have enough for the everything else but the turkey. Or they have enough for the turkey, but they can't get all the sides that they want. Desserts, drinks. Some families have enough for some of their Thanksgiving, but not everything that they may want or need. And then there are families who just don't have anything at all. So that's where we come in as well, to figure out, okay, well, what is it that you need? What is it that you want? It's one of those things where most organizations give a turkey. Most organizations give a Thanksgiving dinner, or they give the whole dinner. Well, the people may not need the whole dinner. They just may need little bits and pieces. They may have saved up some money to get some of it, but they don't have enough to get all of it. Everyone deserves to have a blessed Thanksgiving like everyone else. If you want to have people come to the house, fine. Because, sometimes that's what helps with our healing. When we have other people around, when we can be a blessing, where we can talk. And it's the simple things that help people that we just take for granted for those who can do it. Christmas time, providing gift cards so families can purchase what they need for the holidays. It's not always about the toys. Part of that caregivers program that we had, The grandchildren automatically became part of the angel tree. Once again, this is one of those things where you had to be humble. The angel tree is normally for people who are in need of serious assistance. Well, this time around, that was us. So the kids became a part of the angel tree. Now, keep in mind, we got on the program because of the grandkids, but because we also had children of our own. Because, these grandkids came from my oldest stepson, my son. But we still had 3 of our own that were in middle school. So because all the children were in the household, my 3 other ones automatically got put on the angel tree. Can you say, look at God? Because we was like, how we gonna do Christmas? 3 kids was hard enough. Now we got 5. But God stepped in. Those kids got part of the angel tree. So the older kids got toys. The younger kids got some toys because I made the request that if they get a toy, let it be something educational. So it's like I said, it's not always about toys. They got clothes. They got coats. They got boots. The older kids got some of the things that they like, and then they got like gift cards for other things else. It is a blessing that there are so many people out there that want to help, but a lot of people don't know how to help. Or in this day and age, you don't know what organizations is safe to deal with because everybody is trying to one-up someone else, or they're scamming people because people are still good-natured. But now they have to be more conservative about what they do because you don't know if the money's going to where it's going to. But it was a blessing, and we stayed on it probably 2 or 3 years. And then we could have stayed on it longer. I mean, we could have, but that would have been wrong on our part. Our spirit wouldn't let us do that because we were at a place now where we were okay. We got off the program so somebody else who really needed it could be on it. So that part of it, plus the other blessing was the daycare. With the state, they pay for your daycare, or they pay a percentage. Depending on how much money you make, they pay so much of your daycare, but you get it like at a discount. But one of the rules of it is you either had to have a job or you had to go to school. Well, I couldn't get a job because for me to have a job, I'd have to have somewhere for the kids to go. And for the kids to have somewhere to go means I need to have a job to pay for it. So my only option was I had to go back to school again. Hence the professional student. That's where this last time around when I graduated in 2020 came from, because I had to do what I had to do to get the girls in a daycare somewhere. Once I got them in a daycare, God came through again and I got blessed with a job. Not only was I blessed with a job, but it came through in the season when I needed it because I went to school for early childhood education. I had to do field work. The job was one of those jobs where we don't care what time you come in as long as you in before 9. They were okay with me doing my field work as long as I came back to work and I could make up the time. It was just like a blessing upon a blessing upon a blessing. Madison was about to see how we praise because that was just way too much to go on at one time to be, this is what I prayed for. This is what I got. And just like any person who accepts a blessing from the Lord, you do what you prayed you was going to do, which means if you said, Lord, if you bless me with this, I will do this. Doggone it. That's what you better do. And that's what I did. He blessed me with the job. I had to do a whole lot between the field work and running to go to work and then coming back and getting kids. I did whatever I had to do. So those are the choices that you have. Like I said, I don't put everything in one general thing. I'm transparent. I want you to know this is what you have because Thanksgiving's coming up. Christmas is coming up, but like I said, the back to school stuff and the, stuff like that is a year-long thing. So there's a lot of things that are year-longs. But anybody can donate whenever they want. So for years, with the help of some donors, me and the hubby did what we could. So I've been in the ministry now for 20 plus years. And for the 20 plus years, the majority of what we did came from me and the hubby. Again, that's that being humble part because I didn't open up my mouth and say, does anybody want to donate to help what we're doing? Because back then we had a youth church, or I started a youth church at our church. And some of those kids would come in there and hadn't had breakfast. Well, that was money coming out of my pocket, making them breakfast in the morning. It wasn't always donuts. I gave them we had oatmeal. One day we had cereal. We had Pop-Tarts. I would make them things. I did things, early in the morning because you coming in here hungry. No, you can't be coming in here hungry because when you're hungry, you can't focus. And when you're here, you need to focus because God knows something's coming down the path for you at your age and you need to be aware of what it is. But if you're hungry, you can't concentrate. So we had some donors that every once in a while would donate some money, and we did what we did, and then they would know, because Easter, I didn't even put Easter on there. Easter, we do food for the soul. I don't do Easter baskets because it ain't got nothing to do with why he died. I don't do the Easter bunnies, and I don't do that. It's a food for the soul basket, and what it is a little basket of goodies. You know, chocolate covered praying hands, chocolate covered, you get 3 chocolate covered crosses, you get hearts, then you get like little candies, and because of the people who know me, they always want the snickerdoodle, so there's always snickerdoodles in it. And there's little things in there, and I normally take pictures of it when people donate so they can see this is what your money went to. These are the happy kids, because they're always happy. They always look forward to Easter, because you know churches have their Easter speeches and their Christmas speeches, because I do it for Christmas too. And they get their little thing where they get their little stuff afterwards. But we did what we could with the help that we had. But we knew we had to be humble and ask for donations from others so we can help more people. And that's where we are now. You know, now I have to be humble. You know, this day and age, there are so many kids that are hungry, which hurts me so bad because I'm old school. You don't have kids hungry. So I have a mentoring group called I Am Royalty. And it is a mentoring group for all genders, youth and young adults. It doesn't matter. You can be an adult for all I care. I ain't thought about it, but if an adult wants to be a part of it, they can. And what it is the motto is, you may not like me, but you will respect me. And my young people know, but in order to get respect, you need to give it. So every once in a while, because right now it's just a young group, they all come over. They're girls for right now, but like I said, I do have a couple of boys, but when it comes to sleepover, just girls. Again, old school. And this last time around, they decorated pumpkins. If you look on my Facebook page under Next Generation Ministries, Inc., you'll see where they decorated pumpkins. They roasted pumpkin seeds, and I taught them how to make homemade jelly, because that's something else I do among the 50 million other jobs I have. That's something else I do is I make homemade jelly, and I taught them how to make homemade jelly, teaching them, you teach the babies while they're young. My parents taught me how to make jelly. Now we don't buy jelly no more because I make it. Grape, strawberry, apple, and I'm trying a peach that's sugar-free because I had somebody ask for it. So I taught them how to make jelly. So every time we're there, we sit there and talk, find out what's going on with them. They have the right, they know that they can ask questions. It's the same little group I told you about that every couple of days I'll send a little message to them on Instagram, DM how they doing, see what's going on, make sure they know that I'm still here for them. I love them. Make sure, giving them that uplift when they love it. But that's part of that ministry. Is like I said, when he blesses you, it opens up other doors to do other things. But there are so many more people that need help, and we need to get on the ball to do what we can to help them. Remember, God blesses us, like I said, so we can bless others, not to keep the blessings to ourselves. Now, if you want to know why I chose gift cards, here's the thing. I chose to give gift cards because we were in that situation. Like I said, we were in that situation once where we needed the help, and we could be given, I can remember once, a couple of times, we were given a Walmart gift card. Okay, but what I needed was at Kroger's. And I knew the gift card would last longer if I got it from Kroger's because it was cheaper than Walmart. Then another time we got a Kroger's gift card, but the kids needed shoes. They needed clothes. So the Kroger gift card did me no good because it was good on the food aspect this time, but this time they needed clothes. So by giving us a Visa gift card, we were able to do what we need to do, how we need to do it. So, like I said, we was in the program for a couple of years, and right before we phased ourselves out of it, they started just handing out gift cards. And that's where it came in handy. So if I could go to Kroger's and get something, I could. If the kids needed some more shoes at that time, I could use it for that. If we needed an extra $50 on a bill, I can use it for that. That's why I choose the gift cards, so those who receive them can use them for whatever they need. Whether to be pay a bill, get food, clothes, or whatever they stand in the need of at that particular time, it's easier just to give them a gift card so they can do what they want to do. Now, like I said, being a part of that, being a person that was a part of that, I can tell you as a living witness, when the children are taken care of, it frees us up to do what we know we need to do. Let me say that again. When the children are taken care of, it frees us up to do what we need to do. What does that mean? That means when the kids were fed, When we got the gift card, we was able to feed them. Those who needed shoes got shoes. We was able to stock up the deep freezer, so I had food to work with. Again, old school. You work with what you got to make food, but there were times where there wasn't even enough in the house for me to do that. But when we got to that point where the freezer was stocked, the refrigerator was stocked, I could whip up anything if I just thought about it. When that was taken care of, when I knew my kids were safe, they were going to be fed, they were not going to be without, that let me focus on me. That let the hubby focus on the hubby, what we needed to do to stay in that situation, to be comfortable where we are, but to not only to be comfortable, to stay there, because we knew that the kids were taken care of. We can focus on what we needed to do. That means we were able to listen to what God was telling us to do, because now we weren't worried about the kids, because the kids were taken care of. How this ministry will be helpful is by me remembering what my family went through. That's how this ministry works, because I'm putting myself where people are now. I was there. Those are the best kind of people that you can follow, that you can get behind, because they know what's going on. They've been through what's going on. They know, what resources are available, what resources are not. They know what people stand in the need of, instead of guessing. I had a friend that went through this. Well, so then I think no, I've been there. I know what it's like. 1 minute you sitting up there doing something, next minute your lights are off. 1 minute you go to bed, you wake up, there's no water. I've been there. So I focus this ministry on what I went through, so nobody else has to. So I put myself back in that situation, and thinking about the help we received and how it helped my family. And by doing that, I'm able to help those who need the help, just to get what they need to relieve a little of the stress or the burden from them and the family. Again, parents of children, if you know the kids are taken care of, you can focus on what you know you need to do. But what we need to do normally takes a back seat, because we're worried about the kids. How we're going to feed the kids, how the kids going to get to and from school, how they're going to do this, how we're going to do that, how we're going to get to and from work. That was another thing me and the hubby had to, before I left my job, we had to do. Both of us had good paying jobs. We really didn't take off work much, because I'm learned, I'm old school. Unless a doctor tells me I'm contagious, I'm gonna be at work, and then you gotta tell me how contagious I am for me not to miss a day of work. But it got to the point where we were sitting up there debating on how we're going to use vacation time, because we couldn't afford to take both cars, because we worked 2 different shifts. So how are we going to do this? I'll take off this day, you take off on that day, because we had to preserve on gas, because we just couldn't drive both cars anymore. Emails will now be coming from Next Gen and not Constant Contact. Those who are on my email list, Constant Contact was the email provider that, most people use to send out like mass emails. Well, I found out, the service was good. I liked it, but I got more responses from my followers when the email came straight from me. So I'm going to let them go. There's nothing bad about them. Loved them dearly, but people responded more when they saw it came from Next Gen than it did with Constant. Even though my name was on there, it still, I guess it wasn't the same. So there was no need to keep paying for a service that, really people wasn't feeling too much. Any topics that you want me to talk on, send me an email and we'll talk about it. Keep in mind, I will not discuss political or negative topics. We got way too many social platforms that do that already. I'm here to uplift and inform, but have you see life from a different perspective. I told you, I put a psychiatrist in a psych ward, reevaluating his career goals if he ever met and talked to me for about 10 minutes. I told you, I'm half off plum. I have no problems telling nobody that. But we have enough people talking about the political and all that. No, we're not going to do that. We're here to uplift. We're here to inform. We're here to make you think of things from a different perspective. Because, the Bible can mean one thing to one person, but a next person can read that same Bible verse and it means something totally different to them. And that's why I come in, because I'm different from all these other men. Trust and believe. I still get persecuted as now, 20 years later, because of the way I do things, because I'm not conformed to that little box that preachers are put into. I'm not part of the stereotype of, no, I'm not, because my genre is mainly youth and young adults. Keep in mind, when you're called to help anybody and everybody that calls on you. But if you want to say specialty is youth and young adults. I'll speak to anybody who wants me to speak. I'll speak anywhere you want me to speak, if I can get there. But youth and young adult is where God put me because I'm relatable. Youth and young adults talk to me. They may not talk to everybody, but they talk to me. And we get along because I know I'm into the music they're into. I understand the lingo. If they pull out one more social platform, I'm going to tell them no because I'm on too many as it is and I'm trying to keep up. And that's good because you need someone that can communicate with these youth and young adults. Today, these youth have so many things that's going on and they don't know who they can talk to. Talking to and trusting is two different things. So let me rephrase that. They don't know who they can trust. I can't tell you how many times I've heard a youth and young adult talk to me about a problem. Somebody probably told them they need to talk to their pastor or somebody else, and next thing you know, I'm hearing it in a sermon. They didn't say their name per se, but I knew who they were talking about. You don't know how wrong that is. How many of our youth shut down? How many youth talk to each other instead of talking to an adult because they can't trust anybody? They feel like they can't trust anybody. So I'm blessed every time a youth comes to me and we're sitting here talking and we're talking. We are having a deep conversation because it's all about them. This is the time where we know every youth and young adult cusses. We know they do. And if they're smart, they don't do it around the parent. But we know that they cuss. But around me, I let them go for it. Who gonna know? Unless you tell your mama. Go ahead. Because you're frustrated just like we're frustrated. And we get frustrated, we can say a slew of cuss words you didn't even think letters can go together to make a word. I let them have it because they're like us. They need to vent. They need to get it out of their system so we're not seeing another student going to school shooting up the place, stabbing somebody, strangling somebody. They need to vent. And just like us, they always don't know how to let that out. So that's where the mentoring and the counseling come in because I'm like, go ahead, let me have it because I ain't gonna take it personally because you're not talking about me. But you need to let this out so we can put back into you what needs to be done because the answer is there, but you're so full of anger you can't hear it. And that's the same thing with adults. We get so ticked off we can't even see straight. We got heart palpitations, the blood sugar skyrocketing, the blood pressure is in stroke zone because we are so ticked off. That's when we need someone that we can talk to, that we can just sit there and yell and cuss and slang things around, and they won't take it personally because they know it's not about them, but they're letting us vent. Then once we get it out and we have no oxygen left to fuss, that's when they can fill us back up with the positive, of what we know we needed to do, but we had to get that human side out first before we could do anything else. So anytime donations are used, you will know about it. I told you I'm transparent. I'm a firm believer in keeping people in the loop when they trust me to bless souls with their donations, whether with money, time, or items. We will also collaborate with other people and ministries that are in line with our mission, helping them out in any other way. There are more than one organizations that are doing stuff for people. Like me, I'm more online. I'm more social media. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll get out there because I'm going to start doing that probably December, November, December, getting out there doing vendoring events because I do have a bakery and I do sell e-commerce with spiritual sayings and stuff on mugs and shirts and stuff. So I'm going to get out there too. But then there are other ministries that are community based. And I know one of them that my aunt runs, who's also a minister, that is community based, where they go out and feed the homeless. They go out and minister to these people. They go out and I think now they're collecting sleeping bags for the homeless because there are children that are homeless too, and they're that's what they're doing now. I am in the process of trying to find a group home, like a children's home. Like I said, youth and young adults is my heart, and sometimes children just need to know that there's somebody out there that cares. It ain't gonna come by on just holidays. I'm not. As long as they'll let me walk in the door and talk to them, I'll be there. So I'm looking for like group homes, whether it be single mothers, single fathers, but children. As long as there's children involved. For now, I'm looking for them to speak to them. Like I said, I'll go to a women's shelter. I'll go to a domestic violence shelter. I have no problem with that either. Been down that road too. Not with the hubby, but been down that road too. So I've done so much that it is amazing. I'm still able to breathe. I'm surprised I'm still able to walk and talk. Some of the ignorant things that I did with the dumbest people I used to be around, and I'm still here. Because God saw favor and kept me here, because I should have been dead 20 times over with the stupid stuff I do, or the stupid stuff I did or let be done around me, where it could have took me out just because I was there. So I have no problem. Again, like I said, even though I'm in my 40s, The older preachers call me new school, and some of them still be like, you tell too much of your life. No, I don't. I tell just about as much as my life as you tell of yours. I just did a lot more than you did. That's probably the problem. I just probably did a lot more. But people have to see that we're alike. You know, if he can sit up there and change me, if he can sit up there and make me turn around, you know, from the way I was going, then everybody else needs to see that. That's the problem with us. We need to find somebody that's relatable. You know, I love me some Joyce Myers. I love me some TD Jakes. But they don't know what I'm going through now. They may have been through what they went through to get them where they were, but they don't know what's going on now. You know, what they had back then to help them through is not available to me. So, one, because we're in different demographics, but so it's nice when somebody is talking that's relatable, that they know, okay, that this is what's going on. This woman is crazy. How is she still functioning? You know what? When I figure that out, I'll let you know. But I'm here because of the grace of God, and that he showed forgiveness, because he knew this is one of my special children that is a ding-a-ling. I need to give her a little bit longer so she can figure out what she's supposed to do. But then sometimes God had to step in like, okay, you know, just like our parents had to step in. When we did too much, our parents had to step in like, okay, now you just being foolish. Trust and believe. God has had to do that with me on several occasions where I'm still going to the left and he told me to go right a long time ago. Then finally he stepped in and be like, you know what? I'm about tired of you now, because you need to come out, because you blocking the other blessings that are coming, because I know you're going to turn this way, but you play too much. And sometimes we need to be told that. You know, that's that part where it's nice when it's somebody you don't know, because they can't judge you. You know, you're talking to them and they don't know nothing about you. They can't. Well, I ain't gonna judge you no way, because Lord knows if I'm gonna judge you, I might as well put myself on the trial stand. Then we can both get convicted. But I'm not supposed to judge nobody. I can't judge nobody. My life hasn't been perfect. Nowhere close to it, and it's still not. Heaven forbid. No, it is not. But I love that I had let my children hold me accountable. When I say my children, I mean my youth group. They hold me accountable. That was from day one. So for 20 years, from day one, I tell them you're holding me accountable for everything I do, whether I'm in this church or I'm not. If you see me out in public, I want you to hold me accountable for everything I do. If you see something or hear something about me, or you seen me somewhere and it disturbs you, you better text me, DM me, or stop me to ask me what am I doing. Because there's some places I shouldn't have been either. But then again, God went places that Jesus went places that nobody else went, because nobody else wanted to go there. Well, same as me. Jesus didn't find me in the church house. He found me out there in the club somewhere where I wasn't supposed to be, definitely not with the people I was with. But I go to where people are. You know, most churches want you to bring people into the church. Well, why come the church can't go to where the people are? That means those shady sides of town that you're afraid of. You know, then there's some in Nashville that we know we can't go to in the dark. And here I am with my ignorant self, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, because I know somebody over there just as ignorant as I want to be, like I said. But we have to go to where they are. You know, hence why I'm on so many different platforms. I have to find my youth and young adults where they are. I knew nothing about no Instagram. I knew nothing about a LinkedIn. I knew nothing about Twitter. I didn't know nothing. All I knew was Facebook. And before that, what was the old one? MySpace? That's all I knew. But then my youth had to get me onto these other places, because this is where I could find them. If you heard me talk before, I could send them a text and they may or may not answer it. I could DM on Instagram and they answer immediately. I'm like, it's the same thing. But you just got to reach them where they are. So that's why I do what I do, because I knew where I was when God found me. God, Jesus, I knew where I was when they found me. And I know there are people that are just like me that are out there, that they've been out there so long. They're like, well, I can't come back home. Look at the things I've done. The people I'm with. I can't. Yes, you can. You got to remember, there was far worse than you back in Jesus' time. And he still welcomed them back with open arms. And they did exceptionally well, better than the ones that started out holy. So no, you can always come back home. You just need to find the right person that can lead you through that door. What way to lead a sinner back than a sinner? Like I said, I ain't got no lie to tell. Ain't nobody here living the life of Noah. Ain't nobody here living the life of Job. Nobody. So can't nobody say I'm holier than thou and then downplay a sin. No, you can't. No, you can't, because there's that one person who's waiting for you to say that one more time, and then all your business is going to be out in public, and they will shut you down. So That's why I said I'm a believer in donations. When you donate money, you need to know exactly where it's coming from. And I have no problem doing that. Because if you're trusting me with your hard-earned money that you slaved, that you worked so hard, dealing with them people at your job that you didn't kill them, you need to know where your money is going. You know, most people donate, trust the company, and they just let it go. Or they know the person. They trust them. No. You're going to see every time that money is used, you're going to know about it. Because you need to know that I'm doing what I say and I'm saying what I'm doing. So you know that, no, we're going to do that. So that's why I say sometimes we'll collaborate with ministries that are in line with with our vision, which means I'm going to vet them. That's where the paralegal part of me comes in. Again, I told you I'm a professional student. That's where the paralegal part of me comes in, because I'm going to vet everybody I talk to. But then again, I already know, because of the circle I have now, I already know of organizations that are doing things. I've seen what they've done. I participated in it. So I have no problem helping them out, every once in a while, just like they have no problem helping me. That's how ministries grow. When people help each other, everybody's not trying to hog everything to themselves, thinking that they're the only ministry that can do this. No, there's way too many people on this earth for one ministry to think that they're the only ones that can help. That if you allow somebody else in, they're going to take your people or they're going to take your resource. No, there's more resources to go around. That's why other nationalities are expanding and growing in their businesses, because they share, they help each other, because one person is doing one extra that the other person's not doing. Same thing with a ministry or with any business. Your ministry or your business can't grow if you're not collaborating with people, but they need to be in line with what you're doing. Now, how many businesses have we seen have gotten to a lot of legal trouble because they collaborated with someone or partnered with someone who was totally different from what they were doing, and it cost them a lot of money, a lot of products, a lot of lost clientele because they weren't in line with what they were doing. I'm going to align myself with people who are envisioned with what I want to do. Help people, regardless of who they are, regardless of what their gender, sexual, I don't care. Help is help. Just like death is death. They don't care how young you are. They don't care if you're black, white, straight, gay. Death is death. Help is help. Help is universal. It doesn't matter who you are or the lifestyle you live. If you need help, you need help. Plain and simple. And I know there's a lot of people that are like me that don't want to speak up. You may be embarrassed or whatever the case may be. You don't speak up. But a good friend told me a closed mouth can't get fed. You can't get the help you need if people don't know that you need it. So every once in a while I will collaborate with other ministries or groups that are doing things that align with what my vision is and what God wants me to do. Because like I said, we all could use the help. And by you helping this mission or this ministry, may turn around, they may help you when they find out that you're in need of help. That's collaboration. That's helping, the community helping each other. And that may be asking for donations for them or asking for volunteers when they go out into the community, or one organization cannot help everyone. So we got to work together to reach as many souls as we can by using all resources available to do so. So every once in a while, like I said, I'll reach out, help organizations out. They need the help, the volunteers. I think that's one thing that I'm collaborating with another ministry, because of the gentleman that I know is over it, and they're doing Thanksgiving and they're doing like Christmas stuff, and then they go to Texas, and I'm like, okay, well, I ain't ready to do the Texas part yet. I said, let's start local. So we'll do it here. And he's offering to help, to show me what he did to get to where he is, because he's doing amazing. I'm so proud of him, because I remember before he got started and I see where he is now, when he was younger, and then to see where he is now, I am so proud of him. And he has no problem sharing what he did to get to where he was, because what he's doing and what I'm doing is two different places. I'm in a total different location than he is. So what he's doing, I can do over here to help further my community. That's the part where I'm saying that's why we need to collaborate. He's way over he's way across on the other side of town. I'm over here in Hermitage. So what I'm doing, I can help my community over here, because there's a lot of kids over here. There's a lot of families over here. I can do what I need to do here and help this community. Changes are still coming. The website's going to get a change too. The e-commerce will get more products added, and we will start doing vendoring events to get our name out there to sell products that will help fund the ministry as well. When I say e-commerce, no, I'm not trying to sell you nothing. That's not what I do. But the e-commerce businesses that I have, that's what it's for. It's for to fund the ministry 100%. There ain't no skimming off the top. No. All the money that we raise, because we're the ones that's making the products, the mugs, the shirts, the masks, the bottles, Now we're doing like personalized notebooks. I did some notebooks for the babies that's on, I think it's on Pinterest, I think, and it may be on the Next Generation Facebook page, I don't know. But the things that we're doing, and we're getting ready to do tumblers, I'm supposed to do journals for my babies because they need a place to write what's going on. If they can't talk to somebody, they need to be able to write. Back in our day, we call it a diary. Now they call it a journal. But they need another way. That's another avenue that they can vent. If they have a bad day, I'm going to make them a personalized journal where they can just sit up there and write to their heart's content. But anything that we do, because I have an Etsy store and everything else, everything there is spiritual based. There's some comedy in it too, but it's mostly spiritual based. Like our motto, be that light in someone else's darkness, is a mug, but it also is a shirt. We have different things where change is not needed, but it's sometimes wanted, or change is not wanted, but it's sometimes needed. But you can look on there, but it's different things on there that's motivational, inspirational. And every person that buys something there, it goes to fund the ministry. So it's not like I'm just asking you for money, and I'm not doing something on my own. That's not happening. Money's coming out of my paycheck to fund the ministry, but then I have all these also e-commerce businesses and the speaking engagements where all of that is going back to the ministry, because it's going to where I want it to go to, and that is to help as many people as I can. So changes is coming. When I did the website, it was like over a year or so ago. Well, now I've learned a little bit more, so I'm gonna update it to be a little bit better. So between the selling baked goods, because I have a bakery, JTS Cakes and Bake, and all the merchandise, like I said, all of it goes back to the ministry. And again, I'm not going to ask you to do something if I'm not going to do it. That makes no sense. That's one of the things my kids hold me accountable for. I'm not going to ask you to do something if I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to ask you to conquer your fears if I'm not conquering my fears. I'm not going to ask you to stand up and do what's right if I'm not going to stand up and do what's right. So the same thing when it comes to donations. I'm not going to sit up and ask you to donate if I'm not going to donate. So I am. Every time I sell a baked good, that goes into the ministry. When I sell the e-commerce stuff, that goes into the ministry. When I do speaking engagements, that goes in. Everything is funding the ministry, so we can get it to a comfortable spot to where donations can start really rolling in and we can start doing more. My end game is to leave my 9-to-5 job and do this full time, where that's all I'm doing is going around speaking to people, talking to the youth, doing these little things, where they can have fun. It's a day of no stress where we just come together and have fun. And because, the minister is also a baker, we're eating snickerdoodles and drinking chocolate bomb hot chocolates and stuff. It's just so much stuff that it's amazing. One of my relatives says, I got so many jobs. Am I sure I'm not a Jamaican? Because I got so much that I do. And every month something else is getting added. But that is the blessing of having a gift. You use it the way God intends you to use it. You don't keep it to yourself. You share it because somebody else is needing you. It may be something small to you, but it could be big to someone else. Every other week, again, if you're on my email list, you'll get to see the new products, and please be advised, anything you see on the mug, because I'm in the process now of everything that's on the mug, I'm making a shirt so everybody can see, but anything you see on the mug can be made into a shirt. And we also do some personalized, but you gotta be little with that because people just because I don't do nothing vulgar, I don't do nothing profane, I don't do nothing that's derogatory. That's no. I mean, telling you because it's Next Generation Ministries, I should let you know now. Now, I say that to say this. Just because it's a church doesn't mean anything, because we all know some of these churches have lost their mind and let people say whatever, however, to whoever. And I'm like, no, you're not supposed to do that. That's why we don't have not too many people, having faith in the churches anymore, because churches just letting everything go willy-nilly just because they want more bodies in the church than souls. The bodies is fine. It's the souls that you need to count. That's what you're there for, to collect souls, to make sure souls are being fed, that make souls that are, understanding what is expected of them so they can go out and conquer some of the hatred that's going on, some of the negativity that's going on, because there's a lot more positive people than it is negative. But for some reason, our positive people are laying in the shadows, and it's probably because of who they're listening to. They're not being told, to stand up. You got people that'll stand behind you. It's just like what I tell you that one time about courts. Whenever you see court cases come on and you see one person that stepped forward, then the next day, if not later on that day, you see 5 or 6 other people that popped up with the same gripe against the same person. It's because it was that one person that was strong enough to take the blunt that was going to happen, that gave the other ones that weren't so strong the courage to stand up behind them. Same thing when it comes to working for God. It only takes one person to stand up and say, look here, this ain't happening no more. Where you get the other ones to come up behind you, because they're not everybody is born to be a leader, but you got some of the best followers that are better than the leader that I have ever seen. And I've seen them. The followers were on point. They were doing more than the leader, but they just didn't have the leadership skills, but they were killing it when they were following. So you have a whole bunch of followers that have gifts out of this world. They just looking for that one right leader to start them on their way. They know what they need to do. They're just waiting on someone to help them do it. So, like I said, we'll do some personalized things. This was basically an informative kind of thing. And I was debating on doing it on wisdom, but since I've been here and I've talked on it long enough, I felt that, okay, if I'm going to tell my rest of my people, wisdom needs to know too. My wisdom followers need to know what's going on as well. Because I haven't been on wisdom, and I also hadn't been doing the podcast and everything else. So this is like a joint thing. So everybody knows what's going on. So I'm going to say that to say this: pray for me. Because, every time I end a podcast, I end it with a prayer. But now I'm asking for prayer because what's going on in my life is still going on. I'm still having to make decisions that affects how often I can do podcasts, how often I can do e-commerce. I'm still in that midpoint where I'm still trying to level things out to what's going on. Now, will you find out what's going on? Yeah, I ain't got no problem with it. It's not like it's something criminal or anything like that. But like I said, there are times when people ask you to pray for them, you don't have to know what the problem is. That's another thing that bothers me when people ask, when I've heard people say, pray for me, and they're like, well, what's going on? That's not what they asked you. They just asked you to pray for them. If they wanted you to know what was going on, they would have told you. But they just said pray. And there is a general prayer you can pray for somebody. God knows what they're standing in the need of. They just came to you because they thought that you would be able to pray for them. Now I'm going to say that to say this. Not everybody that prays for you is praying for you. They're praying against you. So be mindful of who you asked to pray for you. But see, I know whose I am. So I know by me sitting up there telling the people that listen to me now to pray for me, God will filter out those who are actually praying for me. So I'm not worried about that. But I'm also tell you this: when you're asking people to pray for you, you need to make sure you're praying for yourself, because you got to understand it's your prayer that gets up to God's ears. Everybody else is like a confirmation. They're your backup. They're there to help you pray. But if you're not praying for yourself, then their prayers is mute. It's null and void, because they don't need to be praying for you if you're not going to pray for yourself. That's like you wanting to get a promotion, but you're not doing the work to get the promotion. So why you think a boss is going to promote you and you ain't doing the work to get it? Same thing with your prayer. How you going to get the Lord to bless you with what you need, but you're not praying it, but you're letting everybody else pray on your behalf? They don't know what's going on with you. You do. You should be able to be so direct with your prayer that it gets straight up there, because he already knows what you want. He's just waiting for you to ask him for it. Closed mouths don't get fed. So I'm praying for myself on it every time I wake up, every time a thought pops into my head, every time the anger kicks in, the frustration kicks in. When I feel the blood sugar start to rise, I stop what I'm doing. I'm like, you know what, Father, have thine own way. Where you lead, I will follow. When God says move, doggone it, I'm gone. Because he knows what's coming down the pike. He's telling me, okay, I'm going to need my baby to get off this journey, because I'm going to need her to go to this fork in the road where I got another angel waiting on her to take her on the next leg of this journey. We need to be praying for ourselves. So as I'm saying that, I'm praying for myself, because you don't know what I stand in the need of, but I do. But we always need that backup. We always need that extra help. And that's what I'm asking. When the time is right, when the Lord says, like I said, I'll tell you, it's not a secret, really. Those who know me know what's going on. But at the same time, sometimes God, just like when Jesus was going through blessing people, some people he said tell, some people he said don't tell. If he tells me, nope, now's not the time for you to make that verbal, make that brock, I won't. But when the time is right, I will. Because like I said, it's not a big secret. It's not. It's just that right now, People got to understand that sometimes ministers need help too. We take a lot on, we're listening to other people's problems, but it's also compounded with what we're going through. But we got to keep that smile on our face because we got to be positive for you. So we got to put ourselves to the back burner so we can do what we need to do to help you. But at the same time, all that compounds. And some preachers have been known to commit suicide. Some preachers have known to commit criminal acts because they just got overwhelmed. So nobody's immune to the stress. Some get it more than others because depending on what they do. But even sometimes preachers need prayer. Now you won't hear preachers probably ask you for it. It's that humble part, but sometimes we need prayer too. We need that extra oomph. We need that confirmation. We need that extra boost. And trust me when I say my babies give it to me every single time. When they tell me how much they appreciate what I'm doing, when they just say thank you for something simple, what was simple to me, and they're saying thank you. They're talking about how much they love. They don't know how when they say that it hit at the right time. Because I needed something, because I was starting to get weighed down. I was starting to get burdened. And then they said that one little thing. And now I'm sitting up here bawling at my desk. I'm supposed to be working and I can't see my screen because I'm in tears because my baby's done sat up there and gave me the confirmation I need to keep running just a little while longer. So thank you for all you who started on this journey with me. Welcome to those who came in the middle. Because I've had some people that have been with me since day one. For 20 years now. So thank you. Thank you for those who are now on board now, who are seeing what I'm doing, who are still giving me, the confirmation I need, telling me, what is it that I need, whenever the email group, I send them out something, let them know what's going on. They're quick to be like, we praying for you. You got this, and that's with humans. That's all we need. We just need one person to say, you'll be okay. We with you. That's all we need. We know that, but that's the human side of us. Every once in a while we like to hear somebody say something good, to keep us going on the way. And again, I want to say thank you for all those who, confirmation of what God called me to do. I will continue to fight for those who have no fight left. And I know I won't be fighting alone. That is why I do what I do, because I was that person. I was that person that had a voice, but I just didn't know how to use it. So now I'm that voice for the voiceless. I'm standing up for those who can't stand for themselves. I'm that strength for those who have no strength left. Because like I tell people, I'm a Mac 10 and you ain't supposed to run me over. I'll run you over. So I stand for those who can't stand for themselves. I will help, give the resources. What do you need? That's that office administration paralegal part of me. Research is what I do. So when I have people wanting to do this or wanting questions about this, I jump on and I start finding the research they need. And I give them links to everything. Call this person. Look at this. Do this. Do this. Do this. Something out of that list I give them helps them find what they need. Because again, I don't need to know the particulars. You need help with paying your utility bill. Okay, this is where you need to go. Which bill is it? Okay, this is what you need to do. If I hear about free giveaways and stuff, here, this is where you need to go. That's what I do, because not everybody has access to the resources that we do. So we are to help others in any way we can. And that's what makes my ministry different too, because I'm giving you resources. Because I knew I loved it when I found out what was going on. So I'm trying to do the same thing to help the next person who may not have that opportunity. Let me tell you, this is where you can go. This is what you can do to help. So again, thank you. Pray for me as we're going through some stuff. I already got topics that we're going to talk about the next time around. One of them that I'm really so close to doing is That's You, Not Me. Meaning you have a lot of people that says, well, I got diabetes too, but I can do it. Okay, but your diabetes ain't my diabetes. So what you say you can do is not necessarily what I can do. Or people who prefer to stay at home and listen to the word somewhere else, and you got people trying to say, well, I can get up and go. Well, that's you. That's not me. I get tired of people comparing themselves, their life to my life. Your life is totally different from my life. God bless you that you can do what you can do, but that's not me. Stop comparing you to me, because that's two different people, two different situations. But that's just one of the many topics I've been thinking about lately that we'll touch on next time. So, until next time, let us pray. Father God, I come here today to say thank you. Father, thank you for those who were able to listen to me today under my voice. Father, bless those who are listening. You know what they stand in the need of. Father, somebody is in trouble now. Father, somebody is wanting to help, but they don't know who they can help or how they can help. Father, I pray something that was said today that will lift up their spirit so they can do what you called them to do. Father, they know what needs to be done, but Father, they just needed that confirmation to get up and get to moving. Father, I thank you for everything that you've done for me and my family. Father, I know that we are not worthy, but you continue to bless us anyway. Father, I thank you for giving me the strength to get Next Generation Ministries Incorporated up and running as a nonprofit, because I know you have a plan and I have to face my fears and walk right alongside you. Father, I thank you for those who are taking on this journey with me, including those that are listening to me, Father. I thank you and I bless them, Father, for them having to conquer whatever they need to conquer to do whatever it is that you called them to do. Father, I give you all the praise. I give you all the glory, all the honor. In your Son, Jesus' name, I pray. Amen. And as always, I will never, ever stop saying this because it's the motto and it's what I live by. Be that light in someone else's darkness. Stay blessed until we talk again.